How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a blessed day. And this video is going to be about how I am embarrassed that I went through my Hollister, Abricombrie, and Fitch Aeropostale phase. Well, not so much Aeropostale, right? But Hollister and Abricombrie and Fitch. I went through my preppy phase when I was about in 8th grade to freshman year. That's where me and my buddies started transitioning into wearing Hollister, strictly Hollister, Abercrombie and Fitch. Like that would be all we would wear, unfortunately, because we were brainwashed, right? And this video is more about like how the youth is brainwashed into wearing brands, driving a nice car that society tells us that it's about the appearance, right? The branding, and how we're being sheep led to the slaughter, right? We're like being led to our demise, where eventually the enemy is trying to trap us, right? So 8th grade, started wearing Hollister, Abercrombie, and Fitch. As we know now that the CEO at the time, I think he's in jail right now, right? He got caught up with like sleeping with male models and paying them to get gigs so they can model for the brand. And eventually he was caught up in this effery, right? And this just treacherous scheme that he was pulling behind the scenes, and he was having fun with it, right? So he got caught. So eventually it's like, damn, we were wearing clothes that were being made through this guy, right? That we were literally wearing slogans for this brand that was committing treacherous acts. And how we're brainwashed, the youth is brainwashed. It was mostly Mexicans at the time, especially in my high school, who were wearing these brands, right? Everybody eventually was wearing Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch. Like, we were literally advertising, free advertisement for the world, right? Eventually, grown-ups and everybody and their grandmas started wearing Hollister, Abercrombie, and Fitch. And the fact that I went through that phase as like, I was basically categorizing myself, putting myself in a box, into being this wannabe preppy guy who came from the trailer park, who's trying to look somewhat rich, I guess, trying to look like I have money, but I really don't. I mean, I might have $20 in my pockets, and I have something, I can buy anything, right, in Arizona, some chips, a burger, and I'm okay, right? But most of the times I didn't have $20 in my pocket. I'm making this video because I guess you could say that I'm into fashion, right? Like, I started my clothing brand, faith-based clothing brand, as you guys can see. Embroidery right here. Everything's on sale. If you guys want to support the channel, it would be much appreciated. At the time in high school, there was different types of people, right? Like, you had people who played sports. They would wear Nike, Wisconsin Packer sweaters, and they would have their own style, right? Like, they're from Wisconsin. They know they're into sports, and they dedicate themselves to playing sports, school, and eventually go on to college, and eventually start working. And they kind of know where they're going. But me, myself, I didn't know where I was going, right? Me wearing Hollister and just trying to like look good And that's all that really mattered to me. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I always wanted to start a clothing brand, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't start it till I was like almost 30, right? I'm 30 right now. As you guys know that I'm a millennial, right? Like you got your P. Diddy, R. Kelly, and all this mainstream culture that was thrown at us. Eventually, it all ended up being a lie. So now we're grown-ups and all we can do is learn from our mistakes. To know where we're going and where we come from, right? The Bible talks about this where God took his people from Egypt, right? He took them out of Egypt through Moses and Aaron, his saint, and they were in the wilderness for 40 years, complaining. They would complain to Moses about how we were better off in Egypt. Why did you come? And this is after them seeing all the marvelous works and miracles that God did, right? He opened up the Red Sea. He gave them angel food, and he had their stomachs full. But they would still complain. This kind of relates to my situation that I came from the trailer park trying to wear preppy clothes and trying to look rich. I know that this is like a superficial like comparison, but I'm trying to have fun with these videos, so that's why I'm making this video about like me wearing Hollister and Abricombrie and Fitch, and how we were just brainwashed, right? The youth, my surroundings, the people I would hang out with. That I remember me getting mails about the Navy, the Army, and I would just be sitting at the table and looking at these letters, and I would say to myself, like, me, this wannabe preppy kid going to the Army? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm over here trying to like look preppy and look good. I would be the last person to go to the Army, even though I would consider it, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I just feel like I didn't grow up with the right mindset. My mindset was superficial, naive, cared about appearances, trying to look good. I would say to myself, as long as you look good, you'll be okay, right? That in today's society, with everything going up in price, looking good is not going to cut it. So I feel like us millennials, we kind of got trapped because they told us go to college. After college, work a desk office and you'll be good. So we grew up being told, do this, do that, just follow the crowd and you'll be okay. So the next generation after us, right, like Generation Z or whatever, they kind of know, they have more knowledge, they're more prepared for the modern world. As in, I feel like our generation, millennials, we got trapped and we kind of reached like a plateau. And I kind of see our generation not being supportive of like the new age, right? That the new age kids, they have their own businesses, their own clothing brands. They're doing this, they're doing that, because they didn't grow up with like Hollister, Abricombrie, and Fitch, and they didn't really keep up with, so they don't really keep up with celebrities like that, like back in the days, right? Like the People magazines, and they would just be all over our face I remember me reading the People's Magazine when I would go with my parents to the groceries while they're paying at the cashier. And who wore this better, who wore that better, right, at the red carpet. And our generation grew up with that okay, achieve these things, accomplish these things, wear what the celebrities are wearing, and you'll be okay. So it's only through God's grace, through Jesus Christ, that he can renew our minds and be different and think different. That I see a lot of people being a certain type of way and they think that that's it. I'm like this. They put themselves in a box, like, oh, I'm not good at technology, like, oh, I'm shy, I'm an introvert, or I'm an extrovert. They categorize themselves, they put themselves in a box. I like to think that I never say I'm an introvert or an extrovert. I'm neither. It just depends on the vibe, right? Like, if there's good chemistry, if the vibe is right, I'm gonna be cheery. You gotta know how to read a room. Don't go into a room just being yourself outrightly, because that's foolish, right? Like, for example, when I would be wearing Hollister and Abricombrie and Fitch, right? I would be like, okay, I'm going into this room. They're gonna see that I'm wearing Hollister, Abricombrie and Fitch, and people are gonna think that I'm polished, that I'm clean, that I know what I'm doing because I look clean. Nowadays, that doesn't matter. That brand is not gonna make you. Brands shouldn't make you or break you, right? You gotta wear the brand if you do focus on brands. The car doesn't drive you, you drive the car. The clothing that you wear doesn't wear you, you wear the clothing. Know who you are first before you even ask yourself, why am I buying this expensive jacket? Why am I buying this sweater that has Nike on it, right? Which I don't even wear brands. I don't like to be branded anymore. Like, I completely changed my whole mentality. As you guys can see, I drive a Chevy Malibu 2010. I never got caught up in cars and making payments, because through God's grace, he has prepared me, right? The Bible says, why spend your money on things that are not food? Like, back in the days, I was spending all my money on clothes. Every week, I would want to buy a new shirt. Going to the Hollister store and buy a shirt on clearance, and think that I'm hot, thinking that I'm out here looking fresh. But the reality is that the employees are probably looking at me like, damn, this guy's here every week. Like, do you want a job, bro? Like, I was literally just advertising these stores, these clothes that they don't pay me. They don't pay me to wear their clothes. And look what happened to the CEO. It just makes me feel embarrassed about myself, embarrassed about my upbringing on that particular, like, phase of my life where it was all about appearances.